Hi guys. So I did an entire thing the other day, and apparently there was no sound because when I went back to replay it to see, you know, some of the things that I to clarify some things, and I realized that there was absolutely no sound. So if you are hearing me, let me know because I would hate to do this whole recording and you know there is no sound. So that was crazy. I could not believe it. Anyways, I'm Donette, and I'm glad to be back here with you. My channel is just really about the repatriation process or repatriation process, however you want to say it, right? And just getting to share with all of you um, my own experience in moving back to my home country, which is Guyana, and then also informing you of the my building process. And as those of us who have been here before knows that I actually built a bistro and lounge in Guyana. And in Linden, Guyana, it's called Kanji Bistro and Lounge. Yes, the name Kanji comes from the bird, the national bird. It also comes from the city that's named Kanji. Absolutely. If you are in town in Linden Town and or you happen to be visiting Guyana at any time and you happen to be in Linden Town, or if you live in Linden Town, or if you live in any of the other parishes, please do come by and visit whenever you're visiting Linden. Or if you want to just make it a special visit just to come see and to come enjoy our services and everything that we offer at Kanji, I am sure you will not be disappointed. Um, let's start off with a couple. Just we're going to talk today primarily about Kanji, where she is, how she's been going, and my future plans for her. So, Kanji's been going great. A couple of updates in terms of things that I did on the project or on the facility. I am done with my outdoors bathroom. This was a big deal because one of the things that you find is that as you begin to think about planning events and not only weddings and birthdays and anniversaries in the space that I have provided there at Kanji. This is outside of the lounge. This is outside of the sitting areas. We're looking at using the space to actually have events. So and having events, you've got to have an outdoors bathroom. I do have an indoors bathroom, which happens to be very pretty, by the way, or rest area or restroom. I do have one, but the reality of it is that you didn't want people or the traffic to continue to come inside just to use the restroom when they're having an event on the outside. So I wanted to make sure to work on that outdoors bathroom or restroom just so that my customers or Kanji's customers can come and have a place to release themselves when that time comes after they've been through drinking and eating that and they don't need to run inside and also stand in line. So it's important to have that. So it was a big deal. So I made my bathroom a pretty sizey, in a pretty sizey space. So the other day, I want to just tell you this that the other day I went to a place, a really big establishment actually, also in Linden. And I was shocked at how I had to squeeze into the bathroom. And so, one of the things that I didn't want for my own restrooms is that I did not want it to be where my customers are squeezing into anything. I did the same thing with my indoors restroom. I believe I made it a 9 by 15, the compilation space in terms of the men and women. Of course, the wall that divides it, right? Straight up and down separation. So there's no seeing over, right? So, but that was a 9 by 15. This outdoors bathroom, I actually made it a 9 by 19 space. 9 by, no, not 19, 9 by, say, 17 or something like that. Because the other facility that I built was closer to 9 by 19. So, um, that in itself allows for a lot of space for the ladies to go in if you want to go in two and three at a times, as ladies love to go to the restrooms together. So it's definitely a sizey or a spacious area. I'm also in the process of fixing it up, just like I fixed up the inside. I'll be fixing up the outside as well. It's nicely tiled. It's got a nice sitting area in terms of the toilet. I also did a nice color sink in there. So, and then what I'm going to do is bring in all the little fancy stuff, because I like to decorate. So I'll be fixing up the outdoors just as much for the ladies. The men also have a really nice sizey bathroom. It's even bigger than the indoor space. So that particular restroom for the men, I am going to be fixing it up too. So I found some nice, sexy lightings for the guys, naked women, and so on. So I think they'll enjoy that. Of course, it's just lights, so it's not anything that you're seeing live. So you don't have to worry, right? So. But it is a very cute. I want to design a very cute and sexy space for the guys, so that when they go in, they not only can smile, but they can feel good about being at a place that celebrates them as well. So, and I don't think that men shouldn't, like, their outdoor space or restroom shouldn't look as good. I think that toilets or bathrooms or restrooms, however you want to call it, are very intimate kind of space. And when we go in, we want to be comfortable. So, and I'm also putting in a urinal in there. I actually got the urinal, but because of the fittings, the plumber wasn't able to actually get that done. So we're definitely going to work on getting the urinal fixed. But so far, everything else is really good. The toilet has been painted. I'm just going to paint the door blacks. I painted it myself. So I did a really nice job, actually. And, a lot of what you see in the background, this is my doing, my painting and all that. So I'm decent. I'm not the expert, but I'm decent at getting down and getting paint on all over my hair and my fingers and every place else. But I get it on the walls, most importantly. All right. But definitely the outdoors bathroom or toilet or restroom, whatever you want to call it, it is done. I am happy because that allows me to move on to business, because business is what's important, right? At the end of the day, the customer experience is the ultimate, care. And the fact that they'll come and not only enjoy the outdoors, but also be able to use the restrooms on the outside. Um, Okay, something else that I've been very happy with. My kitchen is finally finished. It's really compact with everything that it needs. Of course, I'm going to be shipping in much more things to put in there. I'm going to be adding maybe two or three shelves to it, but other than that, it's really completed. I mean, I've been working in the kitchen for quite some time, and I guess I wasn't in a rush because I wasn't planning to use the kitchen, so to speak. As much because I utilize just the inside to make the cutters that I've been making. I have not gone full fledged in terms of a um, menu just yet, and this is why the kitchen was important to get done, because I want to go down the lines, and we'll talk a little bit about what I plan for the kitchen, of course, but I wanted to go down the lines of making good, appetizing, desirable menus that people will enjoy. And while I do enjoy Guyanese food, I find it a little bit intimidating to try to compete in a market that is saturated with such good cooking and the local food. So I've decided to go around that and create something different. So I want to do mostly Italian. I want to try some Jamaican. I want to try some seafood. So stuff like that. I want to bring into the I guess the palates of our, taste buds, and to ensure that people actually enjoy when they come, the food, right? I know that there are tons of places to eat from. I mean, in Linden Town and everywhere you go in Guyana, there is there are plenty, there are plenty of food places that you can buy from, whether it's the corner or the lady at the corner or in front of her house, or a guy who's got his own spot, or a guy who's riding around selling delicious appetizers. I mean, listen, the hustle is real, and people actually do make, I think, a pretty decent living from selling food, because I stop by and buy their food too. Like, I get around, because my eating is absolutely important for me to eat and enjoy my food. It's very important well, I'm a foodie, so I love good food. So with that said, um, what do I have planned for the kitchen? So in terms of the kitchen, I want to, like I said, include all that good cooking, from seafood to Jamaican to anything to do with pasta or Italian. Also wild meat. I want to serve up different types of juices, and I want to introduce different type of desirable liquids, or foods that people will enjoy. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I'm experimenting. I am introducing things into people's diets that are different from what it is that they're accustomed to. So whether it's in liquid form or food form, you want to make sure that not only is it different, but it also tastes really good. Because people who know good food, and Guyanese people knows good food, they know good food is good food. It doesn't matter which region it's coming from in the world, or who's cooking it. If it's good food, it's going to be, they're going to appreciate it. So that is something that I want to make sure that happens in the kitchen. And not having a kitchen for all these months being open was really, really challenging. But it also allowed me to sit back and to think and to talk to my customers about what it is that they will possibly want, and would they be open to trying new things. And they've made it loud and clear that yes, they're open, yes, they're ready to try things. One of the main things that I've been serving, because it's easy to make, and because it's also an appetizer. But I have been doing lemon pepper chicken, and it's something that I actually prepare myself. And I am telling you, it's been selling. People come there, they chew their bones up like nothing, and it's just been really, really. And I don't even do the deep fried ones. I think I've tried to keep away from it, but anyway, the way I do it, it's very, very tasty, and it's also, like I said, they've been enjoying it. But either way, I'm gonna get into the deeper fried, or the way it's really supposed to be done, right? And I'm gonna try to see if they like it that way too. Anyway, I invented my own way of doing it, and it really came out nicely, and it's been a big seller. So moving on from the kitchen, let's go on to the new attachment. Listen, I'm super, super excited. The new attachment to the building is absolutely fabulous. So here's what happened. So I have to give my friend, and definitely my electrician, a big thumbs up. Damien is just absolutely fabulous, literally. So he's been very, very, he's a very creative person. Outside of knowing everything that he knows, he's also very creative. So he comes over one day. This is about maybe a month and a half ago, right? 2 months tops. And I'm telling him my ideas for the new project, or the extension of the veranda to the building. Because as you guys know, the building isn't a big building. The yard space is humongous, but the building of itself, I purposely chose to do a smaller building, because I wanted the inside to be cozy, and I wanted it to be intimate. So I ended up doing a smaller building. However, the outside has endless space. So I decided to extend the veranda. And the veranda is something that I wanted to run towards the fence, the left side of the fence, towards my neighbor's fence, right? Or my fence, but towards my neighbor's yard. Now, What's interesting about it is that as I began to speak to Damien, he says to me, you know, what would be really cool? Like I said, Damien is absolutely creative dude. Like I love this guy. Not only talented, but he's so creative. He says, what would be really, really cool is if you took the veranda and take it above mid-air, right? And then put posts underneath to hold it up, of course, and then connect the new veranda or the extension of the veranda to the old one with stairs that goes up, you know, that threads up. And I started to imagine what that would look like. And I mean, I just lost it. I'm like, there go my answer. Now I don't know why I spoke to Damien that day. Damien is actually the beginning of this project, actually, in terms of the fact that when I first wanted to move back home, he was one of the first people that I spoke to, and he was giving me all these ideas and what it is, what things cost, and how much is cost of living and food and light, water, those charges. So that is really where it all started, right? In terms of not the project of itself, but just me moving home and me being able to say, yes, I can do this, right? So, anyways, so when he told me what I should do with that veranda, I said, oh, there it goes. I am absolutely, I was just taken aback. I was just really, like into it. And I felt like as though this is exactly what I would want to do. Didn't that idea did not come from me. My idea was to just take the veranda out, same level, not even thinking that I can do more, right? Now, what I enjoyed, sorry, what I enjoy as I watched the project is how absolutely on point it was that with Damien's idea. Like literally, this thing is sexy as ever. It's sexy. It's beautiful. It's mind blowing. It's gonna hit home for everyone. And I think it's gonna be one of these spots. As much as they love coming inside of Kanji, and enjoying all the lights and all the amenities in there. I think the veranda, the mid-level or mid-air, sorry, veranda is going to be the spot that everybody wants to, because not only is it about 7 feet above ground, 7 to 8 feet above ground. And you can walk underneath, which is a good thing because then you can actually create another space, which is what Damien also suggested, to create another space, kind of use I guess I don't know, some sort of blockage underneath, and actually be able to sit right underneath as well, create a space. I plan to use curtains and so on to just nice the area up at the bottom as well. There are plants there, and there are also the torches that are there, so it looks really really pretty. And at first I thought I needed to move the torch because I thought it would be too close to the structure. uh, but after looking at where the torches are, where they stop, the amount of space it is away from from the building of itself, and the fact that it's not impacting anything, you know. And I also thought about lower, like I would lower the lighting of it, so because they're like it's by fire, of course. So I would lower the lighting so that it's not shooting up so high, so that it could be safer for everybody's experience, and making sure that, hey, it stays in place, right? So anyway, so I thought about that, keeping those lights in place, keeping the plants where they are, even though I wanted to move them at first. Don't have to move them anymore. Absolutely, it looks really good there. But that mid-air veranda is absolutely just gorgeous, and it's something that really I believe is going to really hit home. So today I spent some time shopping some things, because I want to make sure that the veranda has, even though it's going to be blended in, or that mid-air veranda is going to be blended into the to kanji or to the other building. I want to make sure that it actually stands out in a different, or has its own identity, so to speak, so that when people go up there they'll have their own bar, lighted bar. I already picked out my bar that I want to have up there. It's going to be lights all around it. It's going to be a portable bar, so it's going to be able to be moved around in different positions. And also, I thought of some of the things that will identify the company or kanji better. So emblems that will be on the floor or on the back of the wall somewhere. So, and I want to run some nice pendants in terms of chandelier lights on the top of it. I'm gonna go with black because I feel like black is gonna really make it allow it to pop. The building is blue, right? So I think that the black pendant or black um, extension of the lights will look really, really good. So I feel like as though that's a route that I'm going with that new building. I'm gonna run the floors black or run black on the floors, just like I did in the first building. So again, having a lot of the same identities of the first building, but then that second building, I wanted to also embrace its own type of beauty and be able to identify a little bit more with the outdoors as well as just creating its own individuality, so to speak. So I am very, very excited. Listen, let me say something. Every project that you do, and I said this before, you spend money. And when I started this project, the builder who is a new builder is not the same guy that built the first building for me. This is a new guy, so he did some work for me, some metal work. He did some other door stuff for me, putting up my well, actually, I think what it was, yeah, my poles. He did the metal poles that is in the yard that runs across the facility where the lights run across the facility. He built those for me as well. um, he did some other little work for me there, like covering the waste basket, building the cover for it, because the plumber, the first guy who dug the, um, what is it called again? Oh God, the thing in the yard where everything goes into, where all the waste goes into. Anyway, so the waste basket needed to be created for it, and the guy had not done it because he was as good as a worker he was. He wanted to move on to a new job that he got, and he pretty much didn't complete that part, but it wasn't a big deal. I knew I would get it covered later, and I was so excited at the work that he did, not only on my fence in terms of a concrete in, but also in my inside bathroom, and also that same facility, that same part that I'm trying to remember the name of it. um he did such a great job with every single thing that he did, that honestly that little thing wasn't a big deal. It stayed open for quite some time actually. So I just got it done the other day. So with all that said and done, I mean, literally, I am excited about Kanji. I'm excited about the new project, of all, or the completion of the projects. I also did over my yard, or what I like to call the courtyard. The issue was that the first set of folks that I got there to come there, these guys were always drinking, and they did my they'd help me get rid of the sand, because that's the main thing. I mean, if you go back in pictures that I will eventually compile over time, and you see that yard and you see the amount of black dirt that was there, it wasn't cute at all. I mean, literally, it was just dirt all over the place, and the yard is so big, and so it was a challenge to really try to get that yard level and get it cemented and all that stuff. So anyway, they did not do such a great job, but I was happy to get rid of the sand. So at first, I didn't see all the issues, but as time went on, I began to see the issues, and I wish that I had spent more time hiring more qualified people to do that part of it, because now I have to pay to get that done all over again. Um, Not everybody that says they can do a job can really do the job. Sometimes they can, they have the basic knowledge, and they can help you come to a certain level of, comfort. But then, really and truly, after you've looked around and realized the money that you spent, you should have just spent some more and get it done the right way. So I guess you get what you pay for, kind of thing. Anyway, I've done over half the yard space already, and so I'm gonna be focusing on doing over the second half. But because so much money has been coming out of pocket, I just told the guy recently that, listen, what I want to do is I want to have this other half. This is the final project that I'm going to be doing. I want to have the other half done by the facility. Let the facility pay for it. So wait until we get, some orders or some events and so on, and then let the facility pay. So that way, I'm not taking on that big amount of money to be worried about, and so soon. Anyway, so on top of the yard space, I also have the the fencing. I took that up higher, right? So about 2 blocks, 2 4-inch blocks higher. And I also, what do you call it? I got, before I left, this was very important in terms of security. I got the type of spikes that were really sharp and does the trick. So it's really a good investment to help secure your property. So I got those ran all the way around, right? Front, side, back, and so on. So that way you can feel more secure even as you are away. So me being back in Miami, even though I have someone looking over the property, more than one people actually are persons that is looking over the property. I still feel even more secure because not only do I have my bars up, I mean locks that locks that are very heavy duty. I've got my storage locked away. I've got alarm systems in place. I've got cameras in place, so that way I can see what's happening at all time, even from overseas. So I know what's happening both inside and outside of the facility. I can get up at any time and I can see. And last time, we had placed the camera way close to the veranda, so when they broke into the place, the person who broke in already knew how to disconnect it, do this, do that. So all that stuff was moved around. There's no way to reach my cameras now unless you plan on climbing the roof with a 20-foot ladder. Okay, so don't try it if you're out there and you're planning to do something, you know. Just really nasty, don't even try it. It's been protected all around. Okay, so um, let me see. I've got my police friends as well who are dropping by to the property. So, gotta know people. I'm telling you, after what happened, I decided to just beef up security, right? The other thing that I'm working on in terms of security is my gun license, and that seems to be going a little bit slow. Everything in Guyana goes slow when it comes down to governmental business or, city state business. I mean, honestly, it's just crazy, but it is. But it is what it is. It comes with the territory. I try not to get too deep in terms of the issues like that, but definitely it could go a lot better and a lot faster. But I do have some contacts, so hopefully, those people eventually will be able to help me out, to get the process moved along. And I don't think it's, anything nefarious that they're doing. I think it's a matter of, sometimes if you don't have contacts, your stuff will just sit there. It's just forcing people to do what they're supposed to be doing. Basically, that's what I've discovered. So because people will just let your things sit around and they wouldn't really care as much if somebody else don't like, hey, hit them on the shoulders and say, hey, can you speed up? This application has been sitting here. Like my application has been sitting there since I got there last year. I mean, so, well, actually, no, I applied earlier this year, February. So even though I got there in November, I didn't go down to Georgetown and put in the paperwork until about February. So, but anyway, it's still about 7 months sitting there. Um, let's see, what else can I say. Business has been good, and I am looking forward to, with the improvement, that I will open on a broader scale. I will not be the only employee when I get back, right? I'll be hiring people. My friend Erin. phenomenal person and trainer. I will be using her services to hire people, train them. She'll also be the one who is going to be firing if so be so needed. I also want to adapt some sort of insurance system for my business, perhaps not city or state. I don't want to be giving these folks my money, but I think if we can establish an account within the bank and use that account through the weekly paid system or bi-weekly paid system that I put in place, whichever one, where my workers will be able to pay into it, and I myself will pay a certain amount, and then that can cover insurance for my employees in terms of helping them with certain things that they have, emergencies, medical emergencies. And by the end of the year, if they do not use that money by any chance, I figure we can take out a certain amount and give them it for the holidays to help their families, to help get their kids gifts and so on. And, uh, for and keep the rest of it towards, again, the new annual year, which are the new annual, which, gives us a surplus to start with. So for me, I want to make sure that my employees stay. One of the biggest factors I find is getting good people to work with you. But also, I think that when people are motivated to work, when there's benefits there, and that's one of the reasons why you see, like for example, the guy that I told you about that was doing my bathroom and did my fence and so on. He was motivated to go to the company there to work at I don't remember the name of the company. Anyway, the big backside or company, or the company that's there. Anyway, I'm sure I'll remember it sometime. But he was motivated because they've got insurance, because they've got, retirement plans, they've got different things, and it's not only him. Everybody wants to go to work for that company if they could, because they're the ones that really have things in place. We need, systems in place, which is going to give employees the motivation to want to come to work, to want to stay with your business. I'm sure if they know that there's something in it for them, more pay or better pay, if they know that there is insurance there is assurance that if something goes wrong for themselves, their child, or their parent, or something like that, or their husband or wife, that they will want to come to work because there is an investment. The company is investing in them as much as they're investing in the company. You can't expect people to show up and do your work and you're paying them nothing, and you have nothing available, and that's how they quit. So when I go back, I have a new approach to hiring. Now, you also know that there are lazy people out there, definitely. So those are the people. This is why I'm going to talk with Aaron, who is going to train those folks who are going to have a selection application and selection process, so that we have good people coming to work, people who want to work, people who are interested in growing the company. And I think that there should be reward systems in place, right? So if every couple of months or every 3 months or so, you give them a reason to come to work. So even if it's a gift card, well, Guyana don't have gift cards, but you see what I'm saying? If it's $25, you give them extra because they happen to pull in customers, more than usual or even better than someone else. Give them that price, right? Give them that, okay, employee of the month. Here goes $25 to assist with something. So a lot of the systems that we have here is what I want to adapt there. It's not on a broader scale, of course, because you're not a millionaire. I am not a millionaire. But I think that with small adaptation to the systems that we know here, you can help to motivate good employees who want to come and stay with you. And so I look forward to adapting that insurance employee motivational kind of relationship that will allow my employees to want to stay on board with me, and that who and those who would want to show up every day, and they want to work, and they want to help the company grow. So Kanji has great plans for its employees. So I look forward to having Erin again train, and then be able to put those employees in place for the new for 2023. I have lots of events planned. I plan to use the space in different ways. I'm sorry. I want to, not only do career training on there, using it as a career training space. Um, I want to be able to rent it out to governmental agencies who want to train their employees, who want to use it for company parties, who want to order. Um, for their company training, maybe order food. I want to be able to use it for not only Black Girls Rock, but Sip and Paint or Miami Nights. I want to be able to promote all these things right on that facility. And that's the reason why I have the space as wide and broad as I do. Um, Again, weddings are going to be kept there, birthdays are going to be kept there, anniversaries are going to continue to be kept there. And so outside has to be just as sexy as inside is. And I think with everything that we've done, in the past couple of months, Kanji is well on its way to becoming the hottest spot in Linden Town. I think people already have come by and they have told me over and over, because I am like the bartender, right? I'm the one that runs the place. So people have told me over and over it is the best spot in Linden, and I have no doubt. And I don't take that and say, oh yeah, I'm being conceited about it at all. I take it as a compliment, and I know that there's still work to be done, and I'll continue to work to design a space where people come and enjoy, people come and are fascinated, and people come in and they have good food and absolutely excellent customer service, which is the key to why my customers keep coming back. It's because of the fact that I treat them well, and understanding that they're important, and their dollars or their money that they're spending is absolutely appreciated. And that I'm not sitting up there taking that for granted. And that's a touch that I don't ever want Kanji to lose. Kanji Bistro and Lounge in Linden Town. It's a it's a hot spot. It won't be back open until I get back there. I closed it down, by the way, for those of you who don't know. I've closed it down because primarily I wanted to, when I get back, that my customers come back to the same space that they left. I would rather them sit there and say, "Oh my goodness, there she's not here." Well, I did tell a lot of them that I was leaving. Some people who I've not seen didn't get to know, but I've put it up on my Facebook, Kanji's Facebook, Kanji's Instagram. I've put it on my phone. I still have my overseas phone with me from Guyana. It rings here actually. So for those of you who don't know, so I have this little bitty phone. So it's actually a very cheap phone because my SIM card couldn't really work. But I have my WhatsApp placed on my overseas phone for the business, so that way I can get, I can do a lot of stuff. This is just for answers. It's a little cheap phone. So now what my drive is to find a phone. So if anybody knows, let me know. But to find a phone that can fit this same SIM card inside, so I can be, I mean, a really updated phone, right? So I can use this same SIM card in that phone. I didn't bother in Guyana because it wasn't a big deal, and all I needed to do was answer, okay? Um, and to call my taxis when it was time for me to go home. Anyway, so I am excited about Kanji. I'm excited about where it's going. I look forward to going back. In terms of work, I took off this semester, so I'm not lecturing this semester, but I will probably be back next semester. But I've been lecturing for about 24, 25 years. So if I take a break for 2 semesters, honestly, it's not a big deal. I can always go back in when I'm ready. So I think I'm going to take off next semester as well. But, I like that money coming in. So I don't know. I like that extra US collateral coming in. And if, because I can teach from a lecture from overseas, I think I'm going to be back next quarter, because that money is really important. It helps with the bills, in terms of the fact that you have bills over here, and then you also, you've inherited new bills over there. But the bills over there is nothing in comparison. But also, it helped really and truly, all that money that was spent, and which is something I've got so many receipts, which is something that I'm going to talk about eventually. I was going to say, but there is so much that goes into building a project, in projects like this that I took on. And talking about the financing of it, we know, and you guys know what I've been saying all along. This is totally built out of pocket. I owe no one. I absolutely paid every single contractor on time. I absolutely, bought everything cash. I, you know, the land space I bought cash. I made a couple of payments on it actually. I think we agreed with the lawyer that I would pay the guy about, I think in three or four parts, and that's what I did. But this is even before the pandemic that I had bought the land. My husband and I, when we were there, and given that my husband now knows about the project, because as I said to you guys before, he did not know about the project. Even when I was talking to you guys, it was a love project and a surprise project to him. So he ended up, of course, jumping on board. And, just always, he flew in about 3 times while I was in Guyana. I said this before as well. And, again, he has invested tons of money to make this work. But the thing about it is that you have to, when I say tons of money, it's very, very broad. And the reason why it's broad, or it could be, I guess, interpreted in a very, in any way that you want to look at it, because for me it's a ton of money. To someone else it may be not be a whole lot of money, but for me it's a lot of money, right? However, it's way cheaper, way cheaper. It's not something that I could have done in the US, okay? Not on a professor's salary. um, so that's one of the reasons why I chose home. And not only that, I've been telling you that I'm tired of living in this place where bills are so much, where I have to worry about this and that, and mortgage is too high, and rent is too high, and food is too high. And I'm just really, I can live off my professor's salary, a very nice life. If I, in the repatriation process, you're going to spend money to, during that process and building process, you're going to spend money. But eventually, once you settle down, you have those years of continuing to work, that you're not going to be spending so much money to exist every day. And that's what I'm looking for, that ease and that peace, and the fact that I can choose to live in a place that doesn't cost so much. And so, as much as so many people want to run to this country, um, I am not knocking this country. My son, for crying out loud, is a U.S. Marine. My children are all born Americans. I've lived here for 34, going on 35 years. I grew up here. I'm an NYU grad. I have been very, very fortunate to live a pretty decent life, pretty nice life in this country. So I am not knocking this country and gain a very fine education. Um, I'm also a PhD student. So, I am not knocking it at all. I am just tired of the bills. And this is one of the reasons why I want to get out of here so badly. So I'm done, right? I will still be voting. I'll still be taking part in my rights, to make sure to make decisions that are good and fit for my son and my future generations to come, because they will all be Americans. So I will be voting here. I am a citizen. I've been a citizen since I was 18 years old. So I'll continue to do and take part in those things and fight for the things and be a voice for the things that matter to my children, my black children, my brown children, to make sure that those things, that my voice isn't silenced just because I'm moving back to my home country. So, but I want a cheaper life and I want to be able to do things differently. So, with building Kanji, as much money that has been invested, and again, much is relative, right? And a lot is relative. However, to me, it's a lot, like I said. But I'm looking forward to a nice retirement, and I am leaving this country in no less permanently, in no less than a year. I am going back, but my husband will be here, right? And he will be coming to see me while I'm down there running the facility. But I am totally out of here, y'all. Like, I'm done. I am so done with the US. I mean, I'll be back, to see my grandkids when they're born. I'll be back to, visit my kids because they live between Chicago, um, where are they? Chicago, I think. I don't know. I mean, one is here in Florida. The other one just moved to Virginia. He's the one in the U.S. Marine, so he's got a military life, and I'm expecting that he will have a full military family. So I'll be back to see them, God's willing. My eyes open and healthy and strong. I'll be back to see my kids and grandkids. But for now, I'm out of here. Um, I want to encourage you to do the same if you are tired as well. I want to tell you that there are plenty of African Americans, and I look at shows like Stephanie Perry on YouTube. She is an African American woman who encourages Black American women to pack up and go overseas and live in Mexico and live in different places. And but there's a Caribbean. She features women from all over the world that have left this country. So as much as you guys want to come here for opportunities, some of us are who's lived here all of our lives and who has gotten the opportunities to do many great things and sit in many great places and be around some very fancy people and all that stuff. None of it is impressive anymore. None of it is impressive anymore. You realize that it's life, it's costly to live that way, um, to live fancy. I love living fancy. I live very menial these days. I like fancy stuff, but you know, I I I have a small apartment at the beach now. Not too far from the beach, about 5 minutes away, and I think I am very satisfied with that. Um, in the U.S., here in the U.S., giving up my big space in Georgia, my home, rented it out, came back to Florida, and I'm still comfortable, even though I had plenty of big spaces, 2,200 square footage places. I've done it all, trust me. I've been every place that you can think of in terms of, here in the US, where in fancy spaces with fancy people. I've worked with and done internships at fancy places, done corporate life. Listen, I'm not running because my life has been poor. Actually, I think it's been very rich and it's been very fortunate in many, many ways. But I think that I'm at this point, I'm done. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for joining me. And if you are interested, you can certainly email me at donat2003 at yahoo.com. I will get a kanji email eventually. So um, and take care of yourselves and hope you enjoyed my talk here. And please, for those people who came on my live the last time, some lady came on and was talking. This is my end of my spiel, by the way. But and saying, that I was all confused and I was all over the place and oh, whatever it is. But do know that this is my vlog, this is my live. And if I feel like just jumping around, I can. But for the most part, I'm here and I talk very solidly about the issues that I have to. So before you get on here and talk about that I'm all over the place, just go listen to some of my content rather than looking at one little video and making assumptions. I was all over the place because I wanted to be. I was just having a good time talking to you from the facility. I was having a conversation just like if you were in person. So it didn't have to be, you know, coordinated, and it doesn't have to always be that way. So before you sit there and talk about someone and then compliment me when you're done insulting me, that's just really, really poor or bad manners. All right. So anyway, I'm done. Hit me up if you have any questions or any suggestions. Please do let me know. Write in your comments. Try not to be rude because I'm going to come back at you, right? Because I'm not the one to, I don't think I'm a fussy person, and I don't think I usually brush things off. But if something really, comes at me, or someone comes at me, especially in public, I definitely feel the need to, respond, and I will respond. So, but if you're going to be constructive, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's something wrong with when you try to insult someone. Thanks again. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming on my live. And even though you'll see it after I'm done. Okay, guys, take care and we'll talk. So I'm back in Miami, and I'll be back in Guyana in a couple of months, but I look forward to it.